Fine. So today's concepts are composition, setting the workspace, and we'll go with our encapsulation concepts and as well as a polymorphism concepts. A little bit less concepts when we are compared to yesterday's session, but we will go one by one. So first and foremost is we'll go with the composition and what is composition and all. Let me take on my notes. So first thing is what is composition. So yesterday we have seen something called as is a relationship, right? This is a relationship is nothing but our inheritance. Okay, but composition is has a relationship. As a relationship is also called as composition. Okay, some people also call it as aggregation also, but in terms of industry we call it as composition. So we know that in inheritance we saw it as an is a relationship. For example, whatever the examples we have done over here, car is a vehicle, bike is a vehicle, truck is a vehicle, means we are having different classes and we are finding a relationship with its parent class, which is basically our vehicle class. That is what we did in inheritance. Now let us take an example in our composition and we'll try to do something with that. Okay, so for that I'll create a package. I'll name the package as composition. So inside the composition I'll create another package. I'll call that package as main. Inside the main I'll create a class. My class is called as the composition. So this is my main class. So to run this main class I need my main method public static void main. We'll take some arguments. So let the arguments be string and these are my arguments. Done. So let me edit my configurations once and I'll delete all this. Apply and close. Okay, so this will be my composition. My composition class is created and it is running successfully. So now inside my composition class, let me create another class. Okay, before going into what class we create and all, let me open up what we'll be creating in it. So this is my composition class. Suppose you have a laptop. What are all the things in the laptop? You will have a screen, you'll have a processor, RAM, hard drive, graphic card, optical drive, keyboard, etc. Okay, this is what we have inside a laptop. Okay, so now inside a laptop these are all the common components. Okay, what is the screen size? I can say my laptop screen size is 14-inch. So my it is not a complex one, it is a regular component which is having a screen size of 14-inch. But when you come to a processor, okay, let me write down these things so that it will be more clear. I'll take down my notes and here I have a laptop and a laptop is having a screen and assuming that my screen size is 14-inch. Okay, I'll go to the next component which is my processor. So here if you see, this is a simple component. Okay, when I come to processor, so again processor has a name, it has a model, it has some other specifications. Okay, I'll put it as specs. Here in screen there is only one value, the value of the screen size, so it is a simple component. But when you come to a processor, again processor is having many things, so this is not a simple component, it is having many things, so you call it as a complex component. To run a complex component, we can make this also into another class so that you can run it. So if you see here, laptop is already a class. Okay, one class is having another class called as a processor. Okay, laptop has a class called processor. So if you see here, there is an as a relation. Okay, laptop has a class called processor. Processor is not a laptop, so definitely it is not an inheritance. Okay, but laptop has a processor that is a composition type. So you can have a RAM, it may be of type DDR4 and hard disk HDD, and it may be a 2 TB hard disk. Graphics, again when you come to graphics, again a graphic will be having a name, it will be having some series, graphic card will be having a series, and it will be having a size. Again this graphic card is of different, it has many specs. So when you come to this model, this is again a complex component, means this is again a class. Okay, so when we are dealing with inheritance, what we did, we have different classes, separate classes. They were all not into a single class. We had a separate classes, and we were combining everything with the help of one parent class. But when you come to composition, what happens is you have one class which is your laptop. Inside your class you have again some other classes. Okay, those are called inner classes, and for every complex component we make it a class and we try to access it. Okay, did you understand what is has a relationship?
Yes, sir.
Quick answers everyone, I need everyone to answer.
Yes, Manish.
Okay, I'll make it more simple. Okay, let's draw a line first. So first thing, you have a parent, you had three different things, assuming. So this was your vehicle. We are talking about yesterday's. Okay, let's reduce the size to 14. So this is your vehicle class, and here you had a bike. Sorry, here you had a bike, here you had a car, and here you had a truck, right? So what happens is, when you are talking about inheritance, you say that bike is a vehicle, car is a vehicle, and truck is a vehicle. This is what we were talking previously. Okay, the flow on this model is this side. Okay, it is from top to bottom, it is not from bottom to top. Okay, but when you are talking about composition, what happens is, you have a laptop, sorry, you have a laptop and it has some components. In those you have two complex components, and those two complex component, laptop has a relation with the processor, and laptop has a relation with the graphics card. Okay, you can say that laptop has a graphics card and laptop has a processor. That is how you read composition. processor, and you have a graphic card. Okay, you understood the major difference between is a relationship and has a relationship?
Yes, sir.
Everyone else,
Yes, sir.
did you understand?
Yes, Manish.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Nitin.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Then we'll go back to. So that is actually our regular understanding of the concept. Okay. Now previously we saw that a car is a vehicle. Now we are seeing that laptop has a processor. And what does that processor mean? How do you access that processor within the class itself? All that we will see. Okay. Now you have a composition, a main class, nothing more than that. Okay. Now inside the composition package, I'll create another package which is a laptop. Okay. Inside this laptop you have a class, and that class is laptop. Okay, so what are all the components of all the properties of this laptop? You have a screen. Let me write it down. You have a screen. So properties private, you know about why private and all. Okay, so private, and let me say it is of double type, and the name is screen. Okay, next, private processor. Now when I am saying has a relationship, and so I'll say that it is of type processor. Okay, and the name of the thing is processor. So I need to create a class for this processor, which I'll do it in a minute. Okay, so this is another class. What all properties a processor will have, we will discuss that. Okay, now we'll again go for private string RAM, private hard drive. Okay, instead of wasting time on all this copying, writing all this, I've already created the composition matter over here. I'll just copy this and paste it over there. Okay, these are all the things. See, now there is an error on processor and there is an error on graphics card. Okay, so this processor is a different class because again processor is having many components in it, and this graphic card is also having many components in it. So I'll simply create a package in the composition telling that laptop components. Okay, inside this laptop components I'll create a class, and I'll name this class as processor first class, and another component which will be my graphic card, graphics card. Okay, so what are all the properties of a processor? I've already written here. So these are all my processor components. Okay, one, what are all my graphic properties? These are all my graphic properties. If you have an idea what is a graphic card and what is a processor, it will be very good. Otherwise it is okay. If you know how a laptop works and what are all the components of the laptop, then that is enough. I am importing these two classes. My importing is done. Okay, till now did you understand? We just set it up all our properties of our graphic card as well as my processor.
Yes, sir.
So processor is having a brand, it is having some series, a generation, a core, thread, cache memory, the base frequency or the minimum frequency. So I have written two frequencies. One is for the current frequency on which our laptop is working, and the minimum frequency of the laptop and the maximum frequency of the laptop. Okay, and the graphics. So a brand, a series, a memory. So that is what it is. So I'll create an object for my laptop. I'll say laptop. I'll say lap, which is equal to my new laptop. Done. So when I say lap dot, do I find anything?
No.
Yes, sir.
No, we are not finding anything related to anything. So the reason why we are not having anything in the laptop is
Because
because
it is private.
one, it is a private. Two, there are no methods in it.
Yes, sir.
Because we are not having any getter methods, we are not able to find out anything over here. But what is the use of having any getter methods? If you have some data, then we can get it. Is there any data over here?
No, sir.
No.
Obviously, we are not having any data over here, so there is no need of having any getter methods. So initially what I'll do is I'll give some default data. Okay, as we have seen already, how do we put the default data?
Using constructors.
Exactly. So you can generate a constructor, a default constructor where I can put some default values. So my default value will be screen. So my screen is of 14 inches, so I'll put as 14. You can put whatever you want. And here, processor. So how do you give a processor value? How do you give a processor value? Processor is a class, right?
Yes, sir.
Processor is a class.
Yes.
So if you want to give some value to a processor, how do you give it? Any idea?
No.
So can I say simply processor
No
is
idea.
equal to new processor?
Okay, we need to call off.
Okay, we are just creating an object over here because everything is an object only, right?
Yes, sir.
Assume that I'll generate a constructor with all these fields and I'll click OK. Okay, so I have created a generator over here. You can see over here a processor. Okay, where my processor, I'm just simply creating an object so that it will map to this processor. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's go back to our default values. Okay, what I'll do is I'll simply copy this, I'll paste it over here, and I'll simply change these values to 14. Processor, it will become my new processor as we have discussed already, and my RAM, it's of string type, so DDR4. You have RAM types, so this is my RAM type, it's a DDR4 type. Okay, my hard disk 500 GB, my graphic card, it's of 2 GB. Okay, this my graphic card is again what? It's an complex data type, right? It's a complex component. So again, I need to create a new graphic card. I'm calling its object. Understand this? Okay. So optical drive, mine is a multi-layer optical drive. So it's basically a multi-layer. So it's mine is an optical layer and it's a backlit keyboard. Okay. These are my properties of my laptop. Okay, any laptop, these are the only features. Understand this. Any laptop, these are the features. So again, I need to go back to my processor. I have to specify all the processor details. I have to specify all the graphic card details. Understand? Now, if I print my lappy, out lap, what will I get? Any idea? I'm printing the object of the lap. If you see here now, I am getting a random address. The reason why I'm getting a random address is in this lap, I am not created a toString method. If I create a toString method, then I'll get all my default values. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll generate a toString method. Now, if you see, I've created a toString method. Now I'll run the same thing. Good. Now see here, I'm getting my screen 14-inch. When I come to processor, again, it is creating me an object. I'm not getting the details of my processor. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
As well as over here, I'm getting an object. For all the other things, I'm getting the details whatever I've given over here. Okay, but when I'm talking about my graphic card or my processor, since they are a different classes and I have only created an object, I am accessing their objects. I am not accessing the details of them. So whenever a object is created, a constructor is called, right? You have a default constructor over here. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So we'll create a default constructor over here. First, let me generate a constructor where my constructor will have no elements in it, and then let me create another constructor where it will have all the elements. Control A and OK. Okay, now it is having all the elements and it is crying very badly because I have not used it and I have not given any default variables. So let me copy this. And let me paste it over here and let me give some default variables. So my processor brand is Intel and it is 9th generation. It's a i5, so i7600U, and this should be basically a string. Okay, so this is a string and the generation is 11th gen. It is having 2 cores, 4 threads, and the cache memory is 3 MB cache memory it is having. The base frequency or my current frequency is 2.4 gigahertz. The minimum frequency is 2.4 gigahertz, and the maximum frequency of my laptop is 3.2 gigahertz. Okay, your system's configurations may vary, so not a problem. So this is my processor details. Okay, so now when I run this, boom, you can see over. Okay, my processor is not giving me those values. Why? Can anyone tell me why?
There is no toString method.
Exactly, because we have not returned a toString method. So I'll generate a toString method with all the variables, and now I'll run this. Now you can see my laptop is giving me my laptop details as well as it is giving me my processor details also. Got it? But when I come to my graphic card, it is giving me address. So again, I'll go to my graphic card, create my default constructors, my parameterized constructors. I'll generate a constructor with no parameters. That will be my default constructor. I'll generate a constructor with all the values. Control A. Copy this. See, when you're giving values in your default constructor, it is okay if this is not there. This dot brand, it is not there also, it is okay. Okay. My brand is NVIDIA. My series is it a string? No, right? It's 960 series. And my graphic card is of 2 GB. Okay. I have given my graphic properties also. To access these in the string format, I'll generate a toString method. Now I'll run this. Now check it out. My laptop is returning me a processor. Again, a processor is giving me all its processor values. And again, my graphic card is giving me my graphic card values. Understand this? This is how
Yes.
you create a class within a class. If you see here, laptop is a class which is having another class called a processor of type processor. Okay, you have a property called processor of type processor, means a processor is a class. Same way, you have a graphic card, a component of graphic card which is having a type of graphic card. It means that it is another class. These are called as inner classes, a class within a class. Okay, and this is how you basically access these classes. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
How do you generate a constructor within a class for a inner class? This is a has a relationship. Laptop has a processor, laptop has a graphic card. You can call it as aggregation or composition. I prefer the term composition. Okay. Till now, are you okay with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now we are calling it directly with my default values. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now let us create an object where it is not calling my default values. Let us call someone else's laptop default values. Okay. So I'm creating a laptop. Let us create Nitin's laptop. Okay. New laptop. Okay. So first thing, my laptop variable is starting with a screen. Nitin, what is your screen size?
17.3 inches, sir.
As a laptop, theater screen.
Laptop is
17.3 inches.
yes.
Next, it is having a processor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's go back to the processor later. I will just create an object of processor right now. We will give the processor details later. Okay. So what is your RAM is DDR4 itself. It will not
Yes.
be anything extra. DDR4. Next, how much is your hard drive capacity?
1 TB.
1 TB of hard drive. Graphic, again, graphic is a different class, so I'll simply create a
Object.
object over here for graphic card. We'll talk about graphic card later. Okay. Your optical drive is multi-layer itself. Everything now is on multi-layer drive itself. So let's go with multi-layer. Keyboard is a mechanical keyboard, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
So let us say my keyboard is a mechanical. It's a mechanical keyboard. So now this is my constructor. Okay. I'll just put it on the next line so that everything is visible. Now we need to create a processor. Okay, so I can either write my complete processor details here itself. It will become very long, so I'll create my processor object here. Processor is equal to processor is equal to new processor. Okay, now what all things my processor is having. What is your processor brand?
Intel.
So you have a processor brand with Intel. Next, Intel is having which series?
Don't know, sir.
Okay, assume that your series is the same as mine.
Eighth
And
gen.
which generation? 8th generation. Okay,
i3.
how many cores?
Single.
I i3 is a single core processor with 2 threads, and it will be having a cache memory of 2 MB. Frequencies idea ఉన్నాయా?
No, sir.
Okay, i3 కాబట్టి it will be a 1.8 gigahertz. That will be your minimum frequency also. The maximum frequency will be somewhere around 2.6 gigahertz based on regular processors. Okay, so I'll cut it over here so that everything is visible. Now you see over here, this is your processor details. Okay, like the same way you have your graphic card also. A graphic card will be having a graphic card. I'm creating a new object. This will be my new object. గ్రాఫిక్స్ లేకపోయినా పర్లేదు, ఏవో డీటెయిల్స్ చెప్పు.
Okay.
NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA series 840, assuming that you have a 1 GB minimum graphic card. So these are our details right now. You have a processor details, you have a graphic card details, and you have a laptop details. If you see here, I am just calling the object. So inside an object, I am calling two different objects. So Nitin, the laptop name is Nitin. Nitin's laptop is having a processor, is having a graphic card. Okay, you can say Nitin's processor has a processor of these details. Nitin's laptop has a graphic card with these details. That is called as a has a. Okay, has a relationship. Now when I say Nitin dot to string, enter, it is not giving me anything. Any reason why? Why toString method is not returning anything?
This is out of system.out.println, right?
Yeah, because toString method will always return. It will have a return statement. It doesn't have a print statement, so you need to write it within the print statement. So now if I say Nitin and run it, so everything is changed over here. Initially, these are our default statements of my laptop, and if you run it now, you can see two different statements. Statement number 1 is my laptops, which is my default statements, and statement number 2 is completely a different statement. Understood
Yes, sir.
how
Yes,
as a
sir.
relationship is working? When we are working on is a relationship, if you have done yesterday's complete program, my exercise program also, then you must have understood by now how a is a relationship is working. That means our inheritance is working. Now this is how our has a relationship will work. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we have gone through the basic. So whatever we have done till now is we have set it up a workspace, we have shown what is a composition, and we have worked with our composition also. Okay, Now we will add a functionality. Assuming, okay, now I'll remove all these things. Okay, assuming I have a laptop and it is a gaming laptop. Okay, so this is my new gaming laptop which will take all my default values. Okay, understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in this gaming laptop there is a mode called gaming mode. If I activate my gaming mode, what happens is, if you see, the current frequency is 2.4, right? 2.4 gigahertz. When I activate my gaming mode, my frequency should be maximum. Okay, my frequency should be maximum. So first let us activate our gaming mode. So when I say gaming laptop dot gaming mode, I activated my gaming mode, but the problem is I have not written any functionality for my gaming mode. Functionality means nothing but using all the properties which are having, we must do some work with it. Assuming you are having a laptop, sorry, you are having a mobile. When you click the lock button, it will either lock the complete screen or it will open your lock or it will on your screen. The functionality of that button is, when it is on, if you click it, it has to off, it has to lock your phone. If you click it when it is off, it has to on your screen. That is the functionality of that. So whatever the things we are having right now, we are making a functionality. This functionality is, we are activating the gaming mode. So we are having a frequency 2.4, that is our minimum frequency. When we activate our gaming mode, we have to make the set the frequency to maximum. Okay, so let us put the functionality name as activate gaming mode, and in the laptop I'll create this method. This method is public. I don't want to return anything, I want to simply activate it. Activate gaming mode. Once this is done, basically this error has to go. The error has gone. So inside the laptop we have a method called activate gaming mode. So this method is basically, what is happening is, I am setting up my minimum frequency, my current frequency. Where is this? It is inside the processor. Very good. So inside the processor I am having my frequency. So I am, first I need to get that frequency and then I have to set it to my maximum frequency. So how do you access the data? First of all, processor dot, I'm not having any methods. So first I need to get my frequency and I need to set it to my maximum frequency. So I'll write a getter method to get the frequency. Generate a getter method of the frequency. Okay, I have my frequency. Now I'll say processor dot get frequency. I got my frequency and I have to set it to what?
Maximum frequency.
I need to set it to the maximum frequency. So I need to have a setter method also. So I'll create a setter method of the maximum frequency. Okay, and I'll say get frequency and set it to, how do I set it? Now the important question is, how do I set it? How do I set my frequency? Come on, this is interesting. How do I set my frequency to maximum.
Don't know, sir.
So first of all, if I want to set my frequency, a getter method is not needed. I need a setter method. So I must say set frequency, and the frequency is of a string type, string frequency, and this should be this dot frequency is equal to the frequency whatever I want to give, and this should not be a setter method, this should be a getter method. Get maximum frequency. So problem is this should be void, and this also should be void. No, this should be return type also should be a string. Okay, and now let's go back over here. First thing is I must set my frequency to which processor dot get max frequency. I am setting my frequency to the maximum frequency. Getting what is happening over here?
Yes, sir.
First, I am accessing my frequency. I am setting my frequency to maximum frequency. Since I am not having my maximum frequency directly available, I am creating a getter method to get the maximum frequency, and I am passing it to my set frequency. Okay, now I am activating my gaming mode. So first of all, what I'll do is I'll print all the details of my gaming laptop. Okay, after activating the gaming mode, there is no need of getting all the details, so I'll simply get only the frequency. What frequency? My regular frequency. So inside this I'll activate another method. Okay, I can't generate it over here because it is outside. No, it is inside itself. So let us click on generate. I need a getter method. Okay, I can't do it here because the processor, the frequency is here. So I'll click on generate getter. I want to get my frequency. I have created a getter method for the frequency, and I'll say gaming dot get. Okay, activate gaming mode to string gaming dot. I need to get my processor. How do I get my processor? Wow. Processor dot processor is a class dot no. Okay, fine. I'll put up my complete gaming laptop details itself. Now I'll run this. Okay, after activating this gaming mode, I'll simply say gaming mode activated. Gaming mode is activated, and I am saying my frequency. I'll run this again. Go. So if you see here, first initially my gaming laptop details are this. My frequency is 2.4 gigahertz. When I activated my gaming mode, my current frequency is what? 3.2 gigahertz. Okay, understood how the functionality is working?
Yes, sir.
Okay, two things are happening over here. I don't want to print everything. I want to access only the frequency. How do I access only the frequency? Next question is, how do I access only the frequency? So here I need to access only my frequency. How do I access it? Generate a getter method of a processor, and this processor dot get frequency. So this should return a string type. So I'll write a method called get frequency, and here I'll say system dot out frequency set to, my gaming method is activated. After my gaming method is activated, gaming dot get frequency. Now I'll run this. Okay, see over here, this is my initial data, initial complete laptop specs. Now I activated my gaming mode. When this gaming mode is activated, you can see that the frequency is set to the maximum. The maximum frequency is what? 3.2 gigahertz. Okay, understood how the functionality works,
Yes, sir.
everyone? People are there or sleeping?
So once again, sir.
Okay, what once again, where you have a doubt?
Activate gaming mode.
Okay, see, I created a method called activate gaming mode. Okay, బేసిక్గా గేమింగ్ మోడ్ యాక్టివేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది అంటే బేస్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఉంటుంది కదా, ల్యాప్టాప్ యొక్క కరెంట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఆ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ మ్యాక్సిమం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఎంతైతే ఉందో అంతకు సెట్ అవుతుంది. ఓకేనా? సో ఏం చేస్తున్నా అంటే నేను ఇప్పుడు ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీని మ్యాక్సిమంకి సెట్ చేయాలి. సో ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీని సెట్ చేయాలి అంటే ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీకి ఒక సెటర్ మెథడ్ కావాలి కదా. సో ప్రాసెసర్లో సెట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ తెచ్చుకుంటా, సెటర్ మెథడ్ యూస్ చేసి ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ సెటర్ మెథడ్ తెచ్చుకుంటా. ఫస్ట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ సెటర్ మెథడ్కి ఏదో ఒక ఇన్పుట్ కావాలి, ఒక పారామీటర్ తీసుకుంటుంది. ఆ పారామీటర్ ఏంటి అంటే ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ, ఒక స్ట్రింగ్ టైప్, అది ఏదైనా కావచ్చు. సో నేనేం చేస్తున్నా అంటే ఆ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీని మ్యాక్సిమం గెట్ మ్యాక్స్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ, సో గెటర్ మెథడ్ యూస్ చేసి మ్యాక్సిమం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ తెచ్చుకుంటున్నా. ఎందుకు? నా గేమింగ్ మోడ్ యాక్టివేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీని మ్యాక్సిమం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీకి మార్చాలి కాబట్టి. సో గెటర్ మెథడ్ యూస్ చేసి గెట్ మ్యాక్సిమం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ అనే మెథడ్ తెచ్చుకున్నాను. సో ల్యాప్టాప్లో యాక్టివేట్ గేమింగ్ మోడ్ యాక్టివేట్ చేసినప్పుడు సెట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీని మ్యాక్సిమం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీకి సెట్ చేస్తున్నా. సో మ్యాక్సిమం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీకి సెట్ చేసినప్పుడు నా కరెంట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఏమవుతుంది? మ్యాక్సిమం అయిపోతుంది. సో ఇక్కడ నువ్వు గేమింగ్ మోడ్ యాక్టివేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఎస్అవుట్ గేమింగ్ ల్యాప్టాప్ యొక్క ప్రాపర్టీస్ చూస్తే ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇది ఇనిషియల్గా ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఎంత? 2.4. గేమింగ్ మోడ్ యాక్టివేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత నా ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఎంత అయింది? 3.2. 3.2 ఎందుకు అయింది? నా మ్యాక్సిమం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ 3.2 కాబట్టి. ఓకే,
Okay.
అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir. Understand.
నాకు నెక్స్ట్ ఏం చేయాలనుకుంటున్నా అంటే నేను ఓన్లీ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ కావాలి అనుకుంటున్నా. సో ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ అనేది డైరెక్ట్గా ల్యాప్టాప్లో దొరికే మెథడ్ కాదు. ఎందుకు అంటే ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ అనేది ప్రాసెసర్లో ఉండే ఐటమ్. సో నాకు డైరెక్ట్గా దొరకదు కాబట్టి ఏం చేస్తా అంటే ఒక మెథడ్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకుంటున్నా. మెథడ్ ఏంటి? గెట్ ఫ్రీక్. ఇది నా యూజర్ డిఫైన్డ్ మెథడ్, ఏదైనా పెట్టుకోవచ్చు కాబట్టి గెట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ అని ఒక మెథడ్ డిఫైన్ చేసుకొని దాంట్లో ప్రొసెసర్ డాట్ గెట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీని డిక్లేర్ చేస్తున్నా, రిటర్న్ చేసుకుంటున్నా. సో నేను ఎప్పుడైనా సరే గెట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ కాల్ చేసినప్పుడు ప్రొసెసర్లోని గెట్ ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఇక్కడ ఒక గెటర్ మెథడ్ డిక్లేర్ చేసుకొని ఆ వాల్యూని ఇక్కడ తెచ్చుకుంటున్నా, ఆ వాల్యూని ఇక్కడ తెచ్చుకొని దాన్ని ఇక్కడ ప్రింట్ చేసుకుంటున్నా, అంతే. దానికి మించి ఏం లేదు. ఈ స్టెప్ ఎంత అంతే. అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
సో దట్ ఈస్ ది ఓన్లీ థింగ్ వీ డిడ్. సో కాంపోజిషన్ టాపిక్ అర్థమైందా అందరికీ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the main thing over here. That is our composition. Okay. So according to our today's thing, we have completed the first 4 topics. We saw what is a composition, then we setted the workspace according to our composition, then we worked with our composition. Working is nothing but we created our constructors, a default constructor and also a parameterized constructor, and we tried to access all the elements in our main method with calling only our laptop. The last one is adding a functionality. We added the activate gaming mode method and we saw what it will happen inside that functionality. Okay, till now I hope everyone are clear. And next we'll go to our encapsulation. What do you mean by encapsulation? We have already gone through this a number of times. What do you mean by encapsulation?
Binding the data together.
Binding the data
Together.
I am pretty sure that that is not the definition I told you. What do you mean by encapsulation? Encapsulation means
Wrapping the data
wrapping,
into a
wrapping,
single unit.
oh yes, wrapping or combining, or you can even say binding the data into a
Single unit.
single entity or unit. Okay, so basically whatever we have done till now, when you create a class, that means already our complete data is wrapped up or binded into a single unit. So I have already created a package for this. Now I'll create a class called person. Okay, so person, what are the basic properties of a person? Private. So let me make it public first. Public string, a person is having a name. Public int, he is having a age. Public string, let us say gender. Okay, these are the properties. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'll create another package over here and I'll say that package is main. So inside this main there is our encapsulation class, which will have our public static void main string, which are having some arguments. So this is our main class. So I'll access my person. Person is equal to, sorry, person is equal to new person. Done. Okay, till now everything is good. Now I'll just print out my person. So when I run this, sorry, composition is running. Let me run my encapsulation. So it is giving me a address, an object address, because this person is not having a toString method or any default values. Okay, so first of all let me create a constructor. with no details. Let me create a constructor again with all the details. Okay, I'll copy this, I'll paste it over here so that I'll have my values. Done. Now I'll simply create this. Still now I am getting the same error because that's not an error actually, that's a regular thing. Now here goes. We got our details, right? Everyone?
Yes.
So now if you see here, we have the data, we have some properties, we have a constructor which is a method, we have a toString which is a method. So all the properties, methods, all the members of the class and all the functions or the methods, the behavior, the state, everything is combined into one class and we are accessing that class over here, right? So that is called as encapsulation very clearly. But what is the use of using an encapsulation? There are some rules for encapsulation. The rule of an encapsulation is always the properties of that any particular class should be private. The reason why it should be private. So when I go here and can I say that person dot age is equal to -10? Can I make this -10?
Yes, sir.
But will an age be -10?
No.
No.
Age cannot be -10. That is practically wrong, right? If a property is public, any idiot can make changes. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no, guys? That is
Yes,
not
sir.
correct. So always the properties should be private. That is the rule of encapsulation. And any programming language following our OOPS concepts, it should follow our encapsulation also. The reason why we make private is it is a rule of an encapsulation. So that if you are making it private, that means that it will give me an error. Means it is hiding the data. Encapsulation is used for hiding the data. Okay. Encapsulation is used for hiding the data. Now that is correct. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So we are having all these properties. Now anyhow we said that age should not be negative. So we'll write a function. Okay. So what kind of a function can I write? That age should not be greater than, sorry, less than 0. So we'll write some function over here, or I'll simply access a getter method or a setter method. I'll generate a setter method where I'm setting up only my age. Here I'm telling that if age is less than 0, then instead of less than 0, I'll make it greater than or equal to 0. If the age is greater than or equal to 0, then only you set the age equal to age. Otherwise, set the default age. Okay, my default values, I'll make it all null values. I'll make it 0 and I'll make it empty string. Now if I run this, now you can see I'm not getting anything. Okay, now I'll go to my encapsulation and I'll create a person. So my person is person Pujita is equal to new person. So it should take some values right now. So the name of the person is Pujita. Age is 24 and not male, it is female. And I'll put it over here and I'll simply print my object Pujita. I'll clear this, I'll comment this and I'll run this. Now we are getting it, we are giving the variables to our constructor. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now if I make this as, let this be 24 itself. Now I'll make this as Pujita dot age, set age is equal to minus 22. Okay, it's a negative one. When I run this, you can see it is setting to 24 only, because only if it is positive it has to set, otherwise it has to set to the default value. Here I am giving my default value like this. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you may have a doubt why the constructor is having, we are having the default values as 0, right? We have a default method where 0. So when I put my age is less than, then it should take my default values. Why it is taking these values? If you are having that doubt, only the default values will be called when the default, there is a default constructor. Now I am not having any values over here. Assume that this is the case. When I run this, you can see that it is giving me age equal to 0. Okay, I can even create other setter methods also. So let us generate setter methods for these two. Now I'll go back here and I'll say Pujita dot set name as Pujita dot set gender female. Now if I run this, you can see that you have the name, you have the gender, but when you are talking about the age, it is automatically going to the default value, which is 0, because the given age is negative. Understanding?
Yes, sir.
Others, are you people
Yes, sir.
understanding or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll go to our last topic, that will be our polymorphism. So I'll create a package called poly. I'll have another package that will be my main package. So inside my main package, I'll have a class called poly that will be having my public static void main that will have some strings. We'll have some arguments. My funny, see, take it as a assignment or take it as a simple question. Why do we give this inside the main? Find out and tell me tomorrow. Okay, why do we give this? Anyways, I'm uploading this video on YouTube, so if you want you can comment it there also. Okay, why do we need this? మనకు అస్సలు సెట్ కాని పనులు ఇవన్నీ, యూట్యూబ్లో కమెంట్లు లైక్లు షేర్లు అన్నీ అవసరమైతే ఆడ చేయండి, లేకపోతే రేపు క్లాస్లో చెప్పండి. ఓకే,
Okay, Manish.
so we'll create another package for our polymorphism. So in this we'll take some nice example. We'll take a phone. Okay, we'll create a class in the phone, not a Kotlin class. Kotlin వచ్చా ఎవరికైనా?
సార్
ఎవరికైనా కోట్లిన్ లాంగ్వేజ్ వచ్చా?
ఉన్న లాంగ్వేజే రాదు, మళ్ళీ కోట్లింగ్ అండి సార్.
ఓకే, వెరీ గుడ్. సో మనకి ఒక ఫోన్ ఉంది. సో ఫోన్ polymorphism means you will also have some help with inheritance also, because polymorphism has having a topic called overriding and overloading. So for that you will have some help with inheritance. So for inheritance I'll create some topics. I'll create another package called phones. In this phones we will have Samsung, and we will also have my personal favorite, Nokia. Okay, so I'll not create a lot of examples and all, because we have already seen constructors, default, everything. So let us say private string model. Okay, I have a model. So and I'll create a public void, a function called features. So by default it will say it is a feature phone. Okay, do you know what is a feature phone? Do you know what do you mean by a feature phone?
Maybe everything will be there.
No smart applications, smart apps and all will not be there. A phone which is able to make calls, send messages and access internet in a browser. Okay, so since I am having a model, I'll generate a getter method to our model so that we can access our model. Okay, and I'll have a constructor with the model. Done. So Samsung is also a phone, right? So I will extend my phone. See, as soon as you extend a phone, it is crying that it needs to have a constructor matching our superclass. And here Nokia is also a phone, so it will extend a phone and it is crying. We'll create this. Okay, now we'll go back to our poly. We'll create a phone, a new phone. Done. And a new phone, and I have not created any default constructor over here. I have created only a parameterized constructor. So in this parameterized constructor I will say this is a Vivo phone. Okay, and the model is Y15, and I'll simply print my, what can I print with this? Vivo dot get model. Okay, now I'll run this poly. I am getting the model which is my Y15. Okay, till now everyone understood everything?
Yes, sir.
We have another thing also. Inside a phone we have our features. So when I say features, it is telling me that it is a feature phone. Vivo Y15 is a feature phone, but actually Vivo Y15 is a smartphone, but we have not declared anything with that. So now we will work on that. So Samsung is also having a function which is called as features features, and it is telling that currently all the Samsung phones are smart flagships. Okay, so now if I say in our regular thing, No, let this be. Okay, I'll clear all these things and we'll start from the beginning. I'm having a phone. It's a Nokia phone. New phone. And I am telling the model is Nokia 3310. ఎవరైనా వాడారా నోకియా 3310?
No,
వేస్ట్ మీరంతా. ఒకసారి వాడండి దాన్ని. దట్స్ అన్ ఎక్సలెంట్ ఫోన్.
ఇప్పుడు అసలు మార్కెట్లో ఉన్నాయా సార్ అవి?
అంటే అప్పట్లో 1200 దొరికేటి, ఇప్పట్లో ఒక 11,000 12,000 పెడితే దొరుకుతుంది అది.
ఓకే.
ఇట్స్ అన్ యాంటీక్, సో దొరుకుతుంది. Okay, now I am saying get model. So will I get the model first of all?
No sir,
Why will I not get the model?
we didn't set the model.
Why? Because I am accessing the phone object, right? In the phone object I am having the model, get model. I created a phone object. I didn't create a Nokia object. I created a phone object. So will I get it or not? Tell me, will I get it or not?
Yes sir.
Yep. When I run this, obviously I'll get my model number as well as my phone. Okay, and the feature is a feature phone because by default it is accessing from the feature phone. Okay, remember in Nokia I have not created the feature method. I have created only in the Samsung. I am telling that Samsung is a smart flagship. Okay, now I'll create a Samsung phone which is Note. Okay, new Samsung and the model is Note 8. Okay, now tell me, will I get the model or not? When I say dot get model, will I get the model or not? Everyone unmute. I need answers for this.
Yes sir, we will get.
Why do we get?
Because we already set the model.
But in Samsung I didn't give any model. I didn't use the get model. In Samsung I have not even created a model. So why am I getting it?
Because in phone we set, we get the model.
Exactly. In phone we are having the model and get model, so we are getting it. Okay. Now when I say note dot features, what will be my output? Will my output be a
Note
feature
8.
phone or a smart flagship?
Smart flagship.
Why?
Because they have already future methods, sir. Samsung.
I didn't get you. There are two things. There are features in the phone and there are features in the Samsung class. Now I have created an object for my Samsung class and I am telling that node dot features. So what will be my output? And remember that Samsung is being inherited with phone also. So will I get a feature phone or will I get a smart flagship? I have already explained you the overriding methods.
Yes sir.
So what will it get overridden or will it get feature phone?
Overridden.
Obviously it will get overridden. Always the child class will override the parent class. Here the child class is our Samsung, so it got overridden and it printed as Note 8. Okay. Stay. Mute. Thanks. Okay. Now I'm creating a Nokia 1, new Nokia, where the model is 1100. My favorite phone, 1100. I'm printing out Nokia 1 dot get model. It will obviously print it because it is inherited. Now tell me Nokia 1 dot features. What will be the features? Will it be a feature phone or will it be a smartphone?
Feature phone.
Obviously it is a feature phone because I have
We
not
did.
created any features method over here, so it will automatically give me the default features of the parent. Okay, so understand over here, this features is working as two ways. Okay, first of all, polymorphism. Poly means many, morphism means properties. Okay, one item having many properties. Polymorphism means and one entity having many properties. Okay, here our features method is having two properties. One is it is acting like a feature phone and it is also acting like a smart flagship. Okay, now you need to think, only you need to think is which one will get overridden. Okay, are we clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
How it is working for two things?
Yes.
And there is one more thing, one small change. Okay, we know that Samsung is a phone, right?
Yes.
We know that Samsung is a phone. Basically, Samsung and phone are in a is a relationship. When you are having a is a relationship between two things, you can directly create like this. You can say like this. Phone is equal to new Samsung. When two classes are in is a relationship, then you can say you can create the object for the phone and access the properties of other class. Understood? Many people have a doubt why we are creating like this and when we create like this. We write like this only when the two classes are in is a relationship. When Samsung is a phone, then you can create like this. Understood? Phone, here you can write phone 1, phone 1, and you can also write phone 1. Now if you run this also, you will have the same features. Understood?
Yes,
When
sir.
we can write phone one class having some other classes object and all, how do you write this? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I hope till now you understood all the concepts which we have cleared for today. Here I have explained only overriding, I have not explained you overloading. Okay, understand this. I
Okay.
have not explained you overloading, I will not explain you overloading. Okay, overloading, we'll see it in the future sessions. When overloading is needed, we will use overloading. Okay, understood till now, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to write something else here. I want to write something else. Outside the main method, I am creating a public. let us say a method where my method will say phone and it is having int daily driver. This is a function. Okay, this function is already having some error, and let us say that it is returning int. Okay, it is basically needs a return type, so it is returning int. And in this I want to write a switch which is taking the input as a daily driver. Okay, it is having a case 1. In this case it is returning new, let us say Samsung, and let the model be Note 8. Okay, what is happening? Polydot Samsung, no need. Okay, now instead of int method we will say it as a phone method, phone type. Now it will not give us any error because Samsung is a type, is a phone, right? So I am sending a phone, it is returning a phone type. Now case 2, it is returning me a new Nokia type and the model is 1100, and at the end it will return null. We know that in our switch statement we need to have a break statement for every case, that is compulsory, but I am not using a break statement over here because I am returning the value. When I return the value, automatically the loop will close, so I am not writing any break statement. Instead of this, okay, instead of this I will say is equal to phone is equal to, I'll say phone of 1. Okay, is this a method, static method?
Yes, sir.
Is this method, is this phone method a static method?
No, sir.
Yes.
Is it a static method?
Static method.
No, I am writing it outside the main.
Okay.
See, if I specify the keyword static, then it is a static method, and if you see here there is no error. Okay, if it is not a static, then you must call it with the help of the class name. What is the class name over here? Poly. I must say Poly, it's a class, and it is calling the phone, and it, since it is a class, it should have the keyword new. I must call it like this. Okay, understand this. If it is a static method, you can directly call with the name. Okay, else if it is not a static method, then you must call it with the class name. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Don't worry much about static. In the next core concepts from tomorrow or the next session, we'll be going with the core concepts of Java, where we'll be covering about the public, private, protected, all the access modifiers. We'll be covering about the static keyword also. Okay, that time we will go in depth and we'll check everything possible with all these things. For now, just know that if it is not a static method, you have to call it with the class name. If it is a static method, then you can directly call it with the method name. If it is static, it means that everyone can use it inside the class. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
end of session
Yes,
for
sir.
this. I hope you understood all the topics we have gone through for today.